الحمد لله أحمده وأستعينه وأستغفره وأستهديه وأؤمن به ولا أكفره وآذي من يكفره وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى والنور شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشدا ومن يعص الله ورسوله فقد غوى وفرط وضل ضلالا بعيدا أوصيكم وإياي بتقوى الله فإنه خير ما أوصى به المسلم أن يحضه على الآخرة وأن يأمره بالتقوى ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب ومن يتق الله فقد فاز. We human beings constantly and continuously face complex problems in the world. Complex problems arise because human beings, as a creation of Allah, has a choice to conform to His nature on which He created us or to rebel from. So as a result, from the beginning of time, there has never been a period of time on this earth where any society of human beings have been free of issues or problems. We have developed sciences to deal with all those problems. All our activities that are centered around gaining knowledge, that knowledge is to solve and resolve problems. Whether it is the medical sciences or social sciences or political sciences or financial sciences, whatever, all of them deal with trying to resolve the problems and issues that we as human beings face. But our tendency oftentimes is to focus on what may be the symptoms of a root problem rather than addressing the root cause and the root problem of what gives rise to these issues and these problems in the society. And this is true in almost all spheres of life. Medical science has not obtained a cure for every disease, but you can go to the supermarket and the shelves will be filled with medicines that are designed to cure your symptoms, to make you feel better without taking care of the disease itself. You get cold, you get flu, you know it's caused by virus, and there's nothing anyone can do. But you take stuff to make you feel better, to reduce your cough, to reduce the water flowing from your eyes and nose. And so in the same way, when we tend to deal with the human social problems, we have developed analysis and statistics and studies to determine what is causing some things. And legislators sit and pass laws after laws to deal with this is the issue, these are the trends in the society that is going on. As a result, they try to resolve those issues and problems based on their understanding of this elaborate sciences that are behind it. And it is good to have those sciences to deal with the details of the human issues and problems. But there is a root cause for every issue and problem in the society. And you will be surprised that if you read Quran, it only points to one specific issue and problem that gives rise to all the other issues and problems in every society, that changes human beings and their character, about which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. It is what human beings do to each other. and human beings falling from the standard and from the nature on which they are created, that results in all these issues and problems in the society. And Quran points to a singular root cause of it, and that is man's rebellion against the Creator who created him, who placed him in this world, to failure to submit to him. And the societies have always come and objected to this message and said, أَجَعَلَ الْآلِهَةَ إِلَهٌ وَاحِدًا. Is he trying to make all the gods into just one God? إِنَّ هَذَا لَشَيْءٌ عَجَابٌ. This is a strange thing to say. And so this has been the response for the societies from beginning to the end, whenever it is told to them that your root cause, your root issue, your root problem is this rebellion against the one who created you. And always society's response was that we have come much further than that. That we have advanced, we have enlightened, we have developed science and knowledge, we have reasoning, we know how to deal with the issues and problems now. In hada illa asatirul awwaleen. What you are saying is nothing but the old tales. And when Quran describes this response from the earliest of the time, from the Prophet Nuh alayhi salam to up until later times, always, even Quraysh, in their darkness of Arabia, where there was almost no civilization, yes, there were Persian and Roman empires around them, but they themselves had no institutions, no knowledge-based things, nothing. They were used to a Bedouin lifestyle. And in that state, they would say the same thing. In hada illa satirul awwalin. These are old tastes. لَقَدْ وَعِدْنَا هَذَا نَحْنُ وَآبَاؤُنَا. This is the same thing that was promised before to us and our forefathers. In hada illa satirul awwalin. It is nothing but pure tales that you say. How can you give me such simplistic answer to these complex issues and problems? And so the main issue of human societies has always been this godlessness, this rebellion against God. And it does not mean not believing in God. But godlessness is much more, much beyond not accepting God, not accepting the Creator as the one to whose message, to whose teachings, to whose guidance that he has given us to try to conform to it. They consider that to be outmoded, backwards. Time has gone for it, and they cannot actually continue to implement it. This is always the response of the society. Even today in our modern society, surveys are taken periodically, often, and whenever you go back to any survey in which people are asked, do you believe in God? And 70-80% response has always been, in every part of the world, yes, we believe in God. And this is no different than when Quraysh were asked, Man khalaqa as-samawati wal ard, who created the heavens and the earth? They will say, La yaqulunna Allah. They will say, Allah created everything else. And as a statement of fact on the existence of God, it is something that flows from within you. That if you leave someone to grow up in a jungle, not being told anything, when he will face problems, it will come to his heart to ask someone, to pray someone whom he cannot see, whom he cannot hear. But it is an automatic something that's going to come to every person. And this is experience that is described so many times in so many stories. Because it's a natural call, natural voice, inner voice that comes out and that guides you to your Creator. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks us to go beyond affirming His existence. That He is the one, يُدَبِّرُ الْأَمْرَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ إِلَى الْأَرْضِ. It is He who manages the affairs of the world from the heavens to the earth. إِلَيْهِ يُرْجَعُ الْأَمْرُ كُلُّهُ. To Him returns everything and the results of everything. To Him belongs everything. And you have no control over anything. And so you must submit to Him. And this is the core root problem of human society. Because human societies go wrong because of their values and their ethics go wrong. When human beings try to take advantage of each other, when they try to rebel, when they want the most for themselves, this is the root cause of all the problems. And they require a moral force within them. A moral voice that exists within them that needs a compelling reason to act on it. And that is what belief in Allah. Belief in Allah automatically has to result in belief in Akhirah. Iman billah and Iman bil Akhirah go together because Iman billah has to result in Iman bil Akhirah. And if you have Iman bil Akhirah, that you have to return to someone and you have to answer for your deeds here in this world, for your conduct here in this world, for your behavior here in this world, then that is a force, moral force, like no other. And there's nothing else in human society that can compel people to do something good when they face challenges. Under ordinary circumstances, when it is not going to hurt me or hurt anyone, everyone can be nice and good. But when there is a challenge, when there is interest involved, then that moral force breaks down. And the only thing that can hold it is this belief in Allah, belief in Akhirah, and the message of Tawheed as presented in Quran. That is the root cause of all and the root source of everything. And even in the modern societies, sociologists in the modern world for 150 years have been predicting that religion is going to die. That religion will not exist anymore. And decades after decades pass, and you can see the main driving force of human discussion in the world and human issues and problems in this world is what? Is religion. That despite all the modernization, despite all the reasons, despite all the university educations and PhDs, they are unable to take that part of the religion completely away from human thinking and human reasoning. And so it is an integral part of resolving any issue and problem in the society. And that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala presents as examples in Quran. It discusses previous people, their issues and problems. It discusses Qawm Nuh and their issue of class systems and their exploitations of each other. It describes about Qawm Lut and their sexual anarchy and their freedom and their immodesty and all the other ills that they had. It discusses the problems and issues of Qawm Shuaib and their business practices and their corruptions in the society. For each one of them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala points at the root cause of their issue and problem. This godlessness. Their not believing in Allah, not believing in God is the reason for all these different issues that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes in Quran. That if they came, if they answered the messenger, if they submitted to their Creator, then those issues and those problems will be gone. Because that is the force that can compel human beings to do the right thing. There is no other force in this world. You can think about humanism, you can think of human societies will move towards doing good because it is in their interest. No, but the individual interest and the individual group interest will always override all these other niceties and humanisms and whatnot. Even in modern societies, just dissolve everything. When they say everything goes in war, that you can do anything you want because this is a war situation. That's not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. That's not the teaching of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That he prohibited to even cut a tree in war for no reason, or to attack anyone who is a non-combatant. And the definition of non-combatant was not those who did not come, but those who marched with the army, but they were staying behind. They were not taking part in the war. They just came as the moral support of the army, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you cannot attack them, you cannot touch them. That's the moral force that results as a result of this belief in Allah. The true belief in Allah. The true implementation of Tawheed in our lives. And without it, there is no moral force. And so the root cause of all the issues and problems in the society is this. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala connects one's belief in Him with His character, with His moral. I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes who is really the believer. You can say, I believe in Allah, I believe in God, but Quran gives you a very different picture of who it is. And it describes character after character, beginning to the end of the Quran, that he cannot be a believer if he doesn't have these qualities. الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. These are the definitions of whom? Believers, mu'mineen. That they are humble in their prayers. They stay away from futile things. They take care of those who are in need. And they guard their chastity and their modesty. These are the characteristics Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes. Must belong if you think your belief in Allah is true. But that is the kind of belief that the messengers invited societies. That is the kind of belief that took care of the issues and problems of the societies. And in Akhirah, when person will stand before Allah, Allah equates person's behavior with his belief, and He says, إِنَّهُ كَانَ لَا يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ الْعَظِيمِ. He is the one who did not used to believe in Allah the Azim. Why? وَلَا يَخُدُّ عَلَىٰ طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. He did not used to compel people to feed the masakin. Take care of the society. If he did not find that in his character, even if he came proclaiming, oh Allah, I believed in you, Allah will say, إِنَّهُ كَانَ لَا يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ الْعَظِيمِ. You know, he did not used to believe. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُ بِالدِّينِ. Do you see the one who denies judgment? It is he who pushes away the orphans. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala connects our moral standing in the world with this belief in Allah. So it has to go together. You cannot have one without the other. You cannot have belief and has no effect in your character. Or you cannot have character. You will not find enough moral force within you, enough power, willpower within you to do the right thing. Except in awe of your Creator, Allah Rabbul Alameen. Without that, there will be nothing possible. Without that, we will be weak. We will not be able to fulfill what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked us to do. When the Bedouins came and proclaimed their belief in Allah, they were told, قَالَتِ الْأَعْرَابُ آمَنَّا. They come and say, we believe. قُلْ لَمْ تُؤْمِنُوا. Tell them, you haven't really believed. وَلَا تُقُولُوا أَسْلَمْنَا. No, you have just submitted in it, like a political action of submitting to something. Because the environment has changed. But no, the Iman has not entered your heart. And so when we go out and discourse the society, oftentimes we also focus on symptoms rather than the root cause and root problem. I see very little discussion about this godlessness of the society. It has come about, all these advances in the modern civilization that has come about, starting with the Darwin's theory of evolution. And I'm not talking about Darwin's theory of evolution as a biological process. But what it does is disconnects you from anything permanent, any permanent values, anything permanent socially. Social sciences has used this Darwin's theory to say the world is constantly changing. And we will learn, we will adopt ourselves as we move forward. And we will learn as we move forward. But human societies don't change like this. It takes generations. And by that time, generations have lived with those issues and problems. And these social theories that are taught at our universities and colleges all deal with the symptoms of the ills of the society and the problems that they are facing. If there is corruption in the society, if there is sexual anarchy in the society, if there is this asabiya that is going everywhere in the society, what is the root cause of it? What will compel people not to get into that behavior? It has to be one kalimatun wahid, one statement, not just statement from the tongue. Prophet ﷺ invited the whole Arab and said, just believe in this one statement and you will succeed, you will become the leaders of the Arabs and the Ajam. And Allah will give you power as a result of that. You may think this is a simple statement. It's a simplistic thinking, but if you read Quran from beginning to end, Quran presents this simplistic message constantly. And it gives examples. It gives examples of complex problems of human societies, complex problems of corruption and business practices and all the other social ills, and it points to those people and says, it is all happened in those societies. Those societies were destroyed because of this singular issue of their godlessness. They are not believing in Allah, not believing in Akhirah. And so that belief in Allah, if we claim, we every day we wake up saying, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. We need to be conscious of what it means. And we need to take this message to the society around us. No one is taking this message to the society. This godlessness that is rampant everywhere around us. Religion has become a something of a social identification, not as a concept to be implemented. If you look at the ultra-conservative views of the society, when they identify with religion, the number one issue that they identify is the pro-life or not pro-life, abortion or not abortion. That is the supreme issue that determines a person whether he belongs to the religion or not. This is the corruption of religion. Because religion exists to connect man with his Creator, Allah Rabbul Alameen. To develop this consciousness in him that he has to return to him. And that he is responsible for his actions. That even Allah has given him choice, but Allah wants him to make the right choice every time. And if you make the wrong choices, then your society is going to be filled with issues and problems and anarchy and whatnot. There's a Jewish sociologist, Zygmunt Bauman, who has written a book on Holocaust and modernity. He's a very renowned sociologist. And he's writing that all the ingredients and precursors that will give rise to that kind of behavior, that will turn a nice neighbor, a nice co-worker, into do such grave level of wrong to these selected people, What gave rise to Holocaust is saying all of the precursors of it exist in the values of the modern civilization. Because it has disconnected itself from any compelling permanent values. We are a permissive society. We learn as we go. And there is no permanent values in the society anymore. No permanent values mean we are disconnected. It's the same thing as the people in the past will say, we don't need the message. We don't need Allah to tell us how to organize our life, how to live our life. And so this simple message of connecting people with their Creator, I think, is very rarely done around us in the world today. Doesn't mean you want to convert someone, because that's not in your power. Even that was not even in the power of the Messenger himself. But you need to at least convey and make that an issue in the society. Make that a point of discussion when we discuss with those who are around us. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. وقال تعالى في كتابه المجيد إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك وحبيبك سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. وقال تعالى ادعوني استجب لكم إن الله لا يخلف الميعاد فادعوه. اللهم اعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم واجعلنا منهم. واخذل من خذل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا تجعلنا منهم. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات وأصلح ذات بينهم وألف بين قلوبهم واجعل في قلوبهم الإيمان والحكمة وثبتهم على ملة رسولك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. عباد الله رحمكم الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله تعالى أعلى وأولى وعز وجل وأتم وأحم وأكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.